So today we're going to be fitting a soft tonneau cover onto this Ford Ranger Wildtrak. This is a 2023 model, and the soft tonneau cover is a very simple but very effective fabric tonneau cover with a sort of leather-like finish. So we've got our cover down here and our two side rails, and we're going to start off, Ben, my colleague here, is going to start off by showing you how to fix the side rails onto the main cover. So we've laid the cover face down, so the black surface is down, as you can see there. And if you look on each corner here, you've got a plastic piece sticking up with a Phillips screw in it. And what we're going to do is slot the side rail onto that and then tighten the screw in. The screw acts like a grub screw to hold that in place. So I'm just going to get Ben to do that. So just roll that down, and then slide the side rail into that black piece there, and then when it's all the way in, we're just going to use a Phillips screwdriver just to tighten that up so it's nice and tight, so that that side rail doesn't come off. So just to orientate yourselves on this, the foam rubber is on the outside of the rail, and the slightly curved surface is on the top here, with the rain bar clips facing inwards. So that's the one side there. You can see that's connected in, and Ben's just going to do the same on this side. So again, take the cover, slide that plastic piece into that channel, and then secure it with the screw. So now we can see you've got the front rail secured to the side rails. So the last part of the assembly before we lift this cover onto the vehicle, in the kit there you've got an aluminium bar which has these three slots in it, and you'll note that in the front rail of the cover there are three Allen headed bolts, one in each corner and one in the centre. And what we're going to do is turn this bar over. Ben's just going to do this for me now. We're going to slide the bar with the foam face down, so the foam's going to sit on the front of the truck, and we basically just slacken those three Allen bolts off, drop them into that slot, each slot on this rail, and then just tighten those up. So if you've got it laid out the same as we have, you'll have the foam on the bottom of that aluminium angle now down on the floor, and then just tighten all three of those bolts up, and then we're ready to lift the cover onto the vehicle, secure it to those brackets, and just check the alignment, and that'll be ready to lift on. But what we recommend is that before you do this, it's a good idea to stretch this cover out, because they're usually quite tight from new. So in the next step we're going to show you how to clip the cover onto the back of the rails here and just leave it stretched out for a bit before we start, while we fit the brackets onto the vehicle, and then we'll undo the cover, roll it up and lift it onto the vehicle. So this part is best done with two people really. Just grab the back rail of the cover and just stretch it over like this, and then clip the back end. You sit the back rail up vertical, make sure that the tongue, you'll see in the insert of the video here how this fits in, and then basically just fold that down, and that then clicks into place. It's a good idea just to do that before you start prepping the vehicle, because that just stretches the cover out, because they're quite tight from new. Just to run through the fitting kit then, so we've got 6 brackets here. They're all exactly the same, they're not handed. 3 are going to be used on each side of the vehicle. We've got the 6 bolts that will hold those brackets into place, 12 washers, 6 for the front, 6 for the back of those brackets, and then 12 nuts here, 6 of which will be used to hold the brackets onto the vehicle, and 6 of which will be used to hold the cover onto the brackets. The next part of the installation process is to mount these brackets. There's 6 brackets, 3 for each side, onto the side rail of the vehicle. And we're using existing holes, there's no drilling, so it's not easy to see on this truck because it's a black truck, but you've got a series of holes along here. The bracket for the tailgate end goes into the middle of these 3 holes here, so the second hole along there. So we're just going to pop the bolt through there, and then on the back of that we're going to use our washer and nut. We don't need a washer on the head side because these come with a flanged bolt head. So the middle bracket then goes into the 7th hole from the tailgate. So if we count forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there's a pair of holes here. One of them is sort of oblong and the other one is round. We're going to pop this into the round hole. Okay, so that's the 7th hole from the tailgate end of the truck. Again, bolt through the front, and we've got these studs facing to the inside of the vehicle, and then the front one goes into the 9th hole from the back. So if you count up 9 holes, and we're going to grab our bolt, pop that into that round hole there, which is the middle one of another series of 3. Pop the nut on the back there, and then I'm just going to take a ratchet and a spanner and just tighten those up so they can be fully tightened up at this stage. So we tighten up all 3 brackets like that. There we go. So that's our 3 brackets in place now, studs facing inwards, bolt on one side, nut and washer on the other side, and we'll do the same on the opposite side of the truck in exactly the same holes, and then we'll be ready to lift the cover onto the vehicle. Final note before we lift the cover on, you'll see on the very front corner here there is a flap of plastic. That flap of plastic needs to tuck into this groove here before you put the shutter on. It's a little bit harder to do it once the shutter is on. So take the plastic, bend it down, and just tuck it up into that channel there. That's part of the plastic that then continues to go in all the way, but because of the sports hoop on the Wildtrak, it's difficult to get that front piece in once the cover's in place. So do that on both sides. Ben's just going to do that on the other side there. And now we're ready to lift it on. So lifting the cover on is a 2-person job. So we're just going to take the cover, hold on to the actual cover and the side rails, and then just carefully lift that on. You might just want to pop the cover up onto the roof carefully. There are metal bits in there, so just be careful you're not scratching anything. And then holding the side rails, you need to get the front in between the hoop and line up the holes in the side rails with the brackets that you've mounted on, and just mount those onto there. So I'll just grab the camera a second and you'll see Ben doing it on the other side. So what we've done is slide the cover in, and then you'll see that those studs that were on the brackets are now poking through the side rails on both sides. And then we can start to bolt those on. So the cover's on now. The studs are poking through the side rail here. We're just simply going to take a nut and a washer from our fitting kit, put it over there, and then we're going to tighten that up, and we'll do the same for all 6 studs that are poking through, 3 on each side. Just tighten that up, use a ratchet or a ratchet spanner or whatever you've got available. And we'll just carry on doing that on all 6 of those. In the side rails here, you'll note that there's 2 plastic fixings. These are for the rain bars, which are the curved bar that goes over there to stop any water pooling on the top of the cover. So slide these back, these are loose, slide these back into the position where you want them. I would suggest 1/3 of the way back from the front and 1/3 of the way back from the back. Now you can tighten these up, there's a Phillips screw in there. You just pop the screwdriver in, tighten that up, and then that's locked into place. You can't move that backwards and forwards. Some people like to leave them loose so that you can slide the bars out of the way, but the bars do just clip on. So you position them. I always tighten them up because you can always pop the bars off when you don't need the bars there. So to fit the rain bars on, very simple. You've got your plastic mounting here. On the end, you've got like a horseshoe shape on the end of the rail. Pop that over there, push down, and that clips into place. And then I'll just come around the other side and just pop that into place as well. Like that. Do the same with the other bar. That gives you 2 bars. So when you're using this, if you want to take these out, if you're putting a big box in, just lift them off, put them to one side. Simple as that. Grab the cover, roll it off back here, and then just like we did at the start of the video, we're going to pop these pieces here into the side rails and then push down, and then you can see you've got a nice tight cover on there. The only thing left then is to take this plastic trim and just pop it into the groove on the side rails, and that just holds it tight as a drum skin there. Now, these covers are great for keeping your goods secure from opportunists who may want to take anything out the back of your truck. To open the cover, you have a tab on the inside of here. Pull that down, and then you can roll that forward, and underneath there's 2 straps. You can strap those over the top. There are 2 hooks at the front there. You can drive with it rolled up and secured at the front there, and then when you need to pop it back, press those into there, and then just press that down, and that'll shut up nicely on your tailgate. Gives a reasonably good seal here. Like all things on the back of the trucks, and nothing's 100% waterproof. In fact, one thing you can do is along the top edge of this, where the rail joins the side of the body. I'm just going to undo this. I'm just going to get the camera off here a second. So I'll just open this up again. Again, pull the tab down. I'm just going to roll that up. Probably the most vulnerable part in terms of water ingress is where this foam seal joins up to the sports hoop. You could, if you wanted to, just add a bead of silicone along here, maybe tape up, put some masking tape on there, run a bead of silicone down just to give that extra waterproofing. But simple installation, really good cover, looks very neat on there when it's shut. I'll just get, while I've got the camera in my hand, I'll get Ben to close that shutter up again. Cover, sorry. And you can see now, it's a really nice finish on these. For a simple product, it's a low-cost way of covering your truck, but they do end up, you know, pretty tight, good fit. The overall effect is pretty good.